Hi, this is Leslie, and on July 20th of 2019, John Loengard, famous photographer of Life magazine, began shooting for Life in 1961 and was a photo editor from 1973 to 1987, was inducted into the International Photography Hall of Fame in St. Louis, Missouri. It was my great honor to be present for that occasion.
Hi, Susie and Leslie here. We're Grannies on the Grow. We're saying get off your butts. That's B-U-T, of course, and do what you love. Subscribe and be a Granny Fanny.
Episode 10, John Loengard at the International Photography Hall of Fame and Museum. In the world of photography and famous photographers, John Loengard is a giant and has molded and shaped many current photographers' careers. One of the photographers that John Loengard had an impact on goes by the name of Joe McNally. Joe McNally is a person that I was honored to take a workshop course with in 2017. And while there, Joe spoke about many things that a photographer should concentrate on, lighting a subject, and the importance of gestures and people's reactions when photos are being taken. And it was interesting to hear this lecture with John Loengard speaking about the success of what makes a photograph impactful to the viewer. In this photograph, John is talking about Maya Angelou and talking about gestures, and the photo showed gestures of her with her hand, an impactful image. John shot this photo of the Beatles from Fort Lauderdale, Florida, that ran on the cover of Life magazine. He asked them to jump in a pool, but it was winter and only 50 degrees. In they jumped, and John caught the expressions on their face. John graciously agreed at the end of his presentation to take questions from the audience. One of those questions came from my Grannies on the Grow partner, Susie.
Day as a photographer, and what would be your worst day as a photographer? And how did you make it through that worst experience day?
There are plenty of worst days. There's some of the worst days as you make it day. You know, you figure tomorrow will be a better day. It's when you find that you really cannot connect with the person you're photographing. It's like using a rubber hammer to drive a nail. It just keeps bouncing back at you. And you can't do it. That's very frustrating.
Do you like to have your own photograph taken?
No.
At the end of the lecture, I had an opportunity to meet and speak with John personally. I told him about my experience with Joe McNally and told him I had Joe's book, where he was quoted. He graciously agreed to sign my book, so I presented the book to him on the page that I wanted him to sign. I asked John if he would sign the page where Joe McNally quotes him on what was the best way to light a subject. I talked to John about Joe McNally's book, The Moment It Clicks, and how he quotes John as saying, if you want something to look interesting, don't light all of it. He's right, is the quote according to Joe McNally. So I asked him if he would sign the John started writing. I was on the other side of the book and couldn't see what he had written, but he looked up at me with a twinkle in his eye after he was done. Laugh out loud, when I looked down at John's signature, his autograph in my book, he had written, John Loengard, who never said this, the quote of, if you want something to look interesting, don't light all of it. I laughed and I thought, how'd Joe McNally get that wrong? Laugh out loud, that's funny. Whenever I have the opportunity to be in the presence of greatness, I lavish every moment of it. John Loengard, legend, giant.